Welcome back to Indigenous Food Friday, and today we're making corn cakes with poached duck eggs. So traditionally we would use duck eggs, and we still do, but I don't have any ducks, but I have an abundance of chickens. So we will be using chicken eggs today, and you can use whatever works for you. This recipe is super easy. Anyone can do it. It's just going to take 4 cups of water. I've got that starting to heat up and boil now. 1 cup of coarse cornmeal, or you can use grits. I like it kind of coarse because I like it to have that extra texture to it, but whatever you like. So 4 cups of water, 1 cup of cornmeal, a little bit of sumac. If you don't have any sumac, you can use paprika instead, but sumac is, if you can find it, it's really gonna make all the difference to this dish. A little bit of salt and culinary ash. You don't have to use culinary ash, but I'm going to use rosehip ash for this. So go ahead and get 4 cups of water, bring it to a boil, and we'll go from there. Don't add salt yet. We'll add salt towards the end of cooking your corn. So 4 cups of water, and then we'll go from there. Okay, our water is just now boiling, and I'm going to add 1 cup of coarsely ground cornmeal, but you can use whatever cornmeal you like. If you like it super fine and soft, that's totally fine. I just like a little bit more texture, so I use coarsely ground cornmeal. Go ahead and add that, and we're gonna whisk it really well. And keep whisking for, 3 to 5 minutes, just to make sure you don't have any lumps. And then you're gonna let that simmer for about 30-35 minutes. And you don't need to cover it. And this is in the springtime, our chickens are laying eggs like crazy. So this is a great dish to have. You can have it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, as a side dish, or even an appetizer if you're having guests over. It's super, super easy. If you prepare the cornmeal in advance and then just keep it warm, all you have to do is poach your eggs and then serve it up. So if you have guests or you're serving it for a party, it's super easy. It's also easy to do if you're camping out or if you're at gathering or powwow. It's just super easy because cornmeal is very versatile. And then all you need are some eggs, and there's always someone at camp or at the gathering who has eggs. So super easy. Okay, now I'm gonna reduce heat, and we're gonna let this simmer for 30 to 35 minutes, but keep an eye on it and just stir it occasionally so it doesn't burn or get lumpy. You don't want any lumps. You want this nice and smooth. Okay, here you can see the cornmeal is pretty much done, and look how beautiful and creamy it is. I just love this stage. Now we're gonna add a generous sprinkle of salt. And then go ahead and stir this in. Now I'm gonna go ahead and set this aside on the warmer to keep it warm. And then we will cook up our eggs. Okay, so the temperature in the water for this smaller saucepan is about to heat. We want it to almost be a boil, but not a boil. You don't want it to boil. So I'm gonna start to turn it down because it's about there. Another trick I have for poached eggs is I add just a tiny amount of apple cider vinegar, and you can use any vinegar you want. Wild rice vinegar would be really good to add this to. Okay, so in order to do this, I like to create a vortex with just a wire whisk. So make that go around, so you kind of create like a wind tunnel sort of thing in the middle, and then gently pour this in. Creating a vortex helps keep it all contained, so it'll make that beautiful poached egg. And I'm gonna cover this, remove from heat, and in 5 minutes it should be medium done. Okay, so now I've dished up 2 spoonfuls of the cornmeal, and just kind of made like a little indentation for a nest. And then you don't have to do this part, but I like to with the culinary ash because it helps us digest the corn as well as adds a really good flavor. But this is rose hip culinary ash, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit around the corn. It really doesn't take much. Okay, now I'm going to add our poached chicken eggs, but duck eggs really do work best. And we'll just carefully slide that on. I have a tendency to overcook my poached eggs, but you know, that's just my preference. But cook them however long you want to. Some people like a really super runny egg. Some people like, I like it where it's firm, but not too squishy. Now we're just gonna sprinkle with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then sprinkle on some of this dried sumac. It adds such a tart, almost like a citrusy flavor. It's really worth going out and either gathering it, growing it, or buying some. Enjoy.